on, guys? Zoinks here, and we are doing a Borderlands 3 build review. This is the MozeZerker Infinite build by Killer6. His channel will be linked down below, and also the video that this was made from will be linked down below as well. We're going to judge these builds on 3 criteria. The first one's going to be skill needed. So, like, is it a build that is super easy to play with, like the flak pet build with the Hyperion loader, and you just let that thing just action command all over the place? That would be like a 1. And then a 10 would be something where you have to always get crits, or like you have to slide all the time, like a speed Zane build. The second thing we're going to look at is game knowledge, how much game knowledge you need to actually play the build. So knowing that in a Ties That Bind Tomorrow, you don't want to hit the enemy that's actually phase grasp, you want to hit the side enemy. The third thing is gear acquisition. Gear acquisition basically just means, like, how hard is it to get this gear? Do you need DLC for all of it? Could we put together a non-DLC and do a run of non-DLC stuff on this? Alright, we are going to get into some gameplay now. So, looking at the skill tree, looking at the skills, I'm going to want to do a lot of the anointments. Like, this one is the Exiting Iron Bear, do 160% more splash for 18 seconds, and do more incendiary and shit like that. So, I'm probably going to... This build kind of calls for more of the jump out of Iron Bear kind of playstyle, but we are going to try also doing, like, staying in Iron Bear and trying to fight through a bunch of stuff like that too. Yeah, the free radical slaps, dude. Like, we're not even going to worry about that. And there's a Trevinator doing some work. Got a little flipper action here. Yep. That's the major part of Moze that I keep forgetting to. Is I need to be chucking grenades. Because we're heavy in the vampire skill, and that is what we need to be doing. Look at that, now we're staying up. Alright, so now switches to corrosive. Melt down this Kraken real quick. That's fine. Oh, golden beacon. Good. Aren't dead. I forgot to throw grenades. That is one thing you always have to keep in mind when you're playing Moze, is you always are throwing grenades. If you're not always throwing grenades, then you're pretty much always dying.
I will be. Heal thyself. Sleep. Triple kill confirmed.
What's nice is, too, that I like about K6's builds is all of his stuff is, like, naturally farmed. Like, he sat and actually farmed a lot of his gear. So it's not like he just, you know, doing what I'm doing and just kind of taking builds. He actually built his own. And actually, like, each piece of gear has got, like, some time invested in farming it. Yeah, consecutive hits is always going to be good, no matter what. So, like, now I don't even have to jump in and out of Iron Bear if I really don't want to. I can do it for the Revolter, which some people don't like Revolter gameplay, and I'm like, you know, like, if you don't like the Revolter, then you don't like the B shield, and if you don't like the B shield, then you played Borderlands 2 like I did the first time, which is wrong. If you have no B shield in late game, especially, you have, like, no damage. Unkempt Herald works, man. If you're not using this thing, you're messing up, bud. Like, this is a sweet gun. Yeah. I mean, I don't think we're gonna have a problem here. reload. Oh, I want to put the Minesweeper on as well, right? Because Blastmaster is really good, but Minesweeper is what's going to kill. And this one is disgusting. Jeebus. Splash damage and SMG damage and Jacob's reload speed. Whew. Yeah, this build definitely needs like a Rowan's Call. I know those are a pain to actually farm, to actually get, but sometimes you get lucky world drops.
Takedown confirmed. Woo!
Brilliant work, Vault Hunter. That ass kicking will make Malawan think twice before they come at us again.
Alright, now that we've gone through a Malawan takedown, I am going to rank these based on what I think for each build. Or for each thing. So, for skill, I'm going to say not too hard. So it's like a 4 out of 10, I would say. It's not too hard of a build to just like kind of pick up. If your friend wants to figure out how to play Moze, you can kind of let them jump on the sticks and get it done pretty easily. And when you're kind of scared or you're going low on health, you just jump into Iron Bear if you have it, and then you don't die. The big part for this build, and the reason why it's a 4, is that it's just getting in your head that you have to throw grenades to stay alive with Vampire. Vampire is such a big skill, and getting that 36% missing health per enemy. This works with Cloning Maddening Tracker every time it hits, which we can get in. We're going to talk about here just a minute about this grenade being fantastic. For the game knowledge part of the build, I'm going to give it a 5. This is a very easy build if like I said before, if you're just giving your friend the sticks and you say, okay, play the game, they're going to figure it out pretty well. But there's a lot of intricate things you can do with this build to maximize your damage. One of the big things is using Big Surplus and the Rocketeer class mod. This one here. Since it gives auto bear the rest of the duration, you have auto bear out for the rest of the duration, and while that's going on, you get Big Surplus, which gives you an obscene amount of damage. I'm not even sure how much it gives. I know Fires gives like 400 or something, and this gives like right around that, like 300+%. So like it's gross. Or like if you're specifically farming a boss, figuring out the short fuse shots, because this is actually in a pattern. It's not randomed. So, and stuff like that. There's like little things where you can optimize a lot of your stuff. But if you just pick up the build and play it, you're not going to really need to know that stuff. You'll just pick it up as you go through. Gear part of it, I'm going to give this one a 6. Specifically for this grenade alone, getting these to drop is very, very hard. And not getting a level 72 one is very, very hard. You want this to be as low as level as possible. It will kill you. Even at 13, I've seen CMTs kill people. I have to at least give it a 5 for that, because that's a lot of vendor farming, and people who are on console, it's going to be a pain to farm for that. A good, and K6 talks about in the video, a good replacement is the reoccurring Hex, which you can get from, I think, the Sky Bullies, which isn't that bad of a farm, or Fish Slap, or the Piss. Like there are options besides this, but specifically having this, it's gonna put the number up one. The anointments on this build are on point for the action skill boost that just happened with all of the anointments. The specifically like Iron Bear getting 160 splash damage, stuff like that. But consecutive hits is a pretty basic anointment that if you have a couple of them or you have a way to dupe them, you can kind of use it on a bunch of different builds. And this is a build that really pushes for that, since you don't have to jump into Iron Bear a bunch and you can just keep your Blastmaster blasting away. I gave this a 6 because the gear on here is fantastic. Like the free radicals, gross. Like a lot of these guns are very, very strong. A couple of these guns aren't super meta guns though. Like Unkempt Herald's really good, but not a lot of people are using it. Free Radical is just like the most OP Hellshock. Tizzy is so gross. That like there's a bunch of things that are meta, and then you've got like the Soul Render. You've got the Trevinator that, I mean, slaps. I think I show good clips of that slap, like doing some real good work. You know, having a Super Stratifier on here, that's a luck in itself, getting the double barrel. So I at least want to give it a 6 because like I feel like it's not hard to get this gear, but the gear that's on here is super sweet.
For non-DLC guns, or for vanilla, if you will, we've got Kib's Worst that are really good. We've got no pew pews. We've got a Butcher that's disgusting. And for class mods and stuff, you're gonna. I mean, all of your Moze class mods are basically non-DLC. The Flare and the Sapper comms are the only two that really aren't on this build, and I think they're the only two that are really worth using, if I remember right, that are non-vanilla. For the Relifact, you're gonna want like a Snowdrift Victory Rush or something like that, and then for the Revolter, really you can use any shield. I like the Stopgap personally; it just stops you from dying as much, which is great. The Trevinator slaps, dude. It's so strong. You also get like Yellow Cake. You also get Monarchs. You also get Boomsicle. You also get EMP5. You can get the Hell Shock instead of the Free Radical. You get the Chaosin, which is really good. You can get a Maggie if you're really feeling it. I don't think it's great on this class, but for Minesweeper, it's pretty good.
I feel like this build's gonna shred no matter what. Like no matter what guns you put in Moze's hand, it's the build's just gonna work. As long as she's got splash damage, like which this build has a lot of. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6, and overall, I'm gonna give this build like a 9 out of 10, honestly, because in the Borderlands 3 life cycle, Moze was either jumping in and out of Iron Bear all the time for some for the road builds, or it was only consecutive hits and you only used Iron Bear when you needed to, and you never used action skill end. You never messed with that. You just used consecutive hits and grenade throw anoint, and then you did something else like that. I really like this build kind of does both. You can jump in and out of Iron Bear a bunch. You can do just straight Iron Bear if you just want to, Iron Bear up. And I mean, I might grab a Plus Ultra from DLC 4 just to help with that build in general. But like that's an easy farm if you have DLC 4, so it's not too bad. There's little things that we can definitely help build, not even help it, but like there's not a lot that makes this build bad. Like every gun on it is great. The skill tree spec is fantastic. Like if you want to do Iron Cub, you can do Iron Cub and throw him out.
The reason why I'm not giving this a perfect 10 is because the throwing grenades thing, I am a flak main, so throwing grenades all the time is not really what I'm trying to do. With Mitosis Hunter Seekers, sure, but most of the time you're just kind of shooting with flak and kind of killing everything. So that's one thing personally for me, but I think this build's fantastic, man. I'm definitely going to run this Moze as like for a long while, doing some end game content and farming gear and shit like that.
Alright guys, and on that note, I would like if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, maybe some other builds I could be doing, stuff like that. If you guys want to see specific characters, specific builds, let me know. Like I said, K6's channel and also the video will be down below in the description, so please check that out. I think that's it, so we're going to have to get out of here. You guys have a wonderful evening, and stay safe, fam.